Today, we met Andrea Taimana, founder and chief science officer of Organic Bioactives, a New Zealand-based startup specializing in cosmetic ingredients. When Andrea decided to join the L'Oreal Innovation Runaway Challenge, she had no idea how this experience could be impactful. Learn more about her journey and how a small family skincare business could win a global competition. Here is her Agostory.
I'm completely upside down cake, if you like. So I started as a physiotherapist. So my first basic profession is physiotherapy. So I've been physiotherapist for 28 years. But as a physiotherapist, my passion was recovering the skin from injuries. People had like simple operations or broken bones and they had to have operation. I was always taking care of the holistic approach, not only to gain flexibility back, but also to take care of their scars on the skin. And I always loved working with the skin in terms of helping the skin to regenerate fast and to fully recover. So you won't see your scars anymore, right? So, and this is, that's actually create a solid base for me. And I moved to New Zealand not to work in skincare industry at all. I just wanted to continue with my profession, as a physiotherapist. And it ended up that I actually, it was hard for me to just work in New Zealand as a physiotherapist. And at the same time, I found that beautiful product that intrigued me so much that I was suddenly super interested into, cosmetic industry. So what happened then is that despite all my university degrees and education in physiotherapy, I had to leave that behind entirely and started to study cosmetic industry and chemistry, cosmetic chemistry, to be able to understand philosophy behind creating skincare products together. So it's just, and I wasn't even young. I was already 50 years old and I had to change my entire profession completely. So and then I created skincare products, and then I was understanding more and more, and that's actually my whole life story would probably has really contributed to where we are at the moment, because I was learning different aspects of business, of knowledge, from medical knowledge, cosmetic product development. I was in fact in shoes of consumer shoes first. Then I became a cosmetic product maker. So I was owner of the brand. So I understand, as a brand owner and cosmetic formulator, what kind of ingredients I'd like to have in my product, that my product would be outstanding, that would be better than others, right? So I knew what I wanted. And that's what really tremendously helped me in developing an ingredient, because I knew what kind of ingredients I need for my products to perform. We actually didn't even know that, L'Oreal Innovation Challenge exists. But I have been contacted from some, I believe, scouting agents that are trying to find maybe interesting or innovative businesses around the world to feature in the Slingshot event. So it happened back in 2018 that I've been approached for the first time, because we developed innovative skincare brand that in fact was using really the cutting edge technology to extract botanical extracts and produce our innovative ingredient blends. And they invited us to participate. And I didn't decide to do that at that time. We were so busy on other projects. And then last year, we were approached again via email. So and the phone call. So someone, and I said, oh, no one will pick up. You know, it's L'Oreal. It's such a big competition. Why would we do that? So, but then they were persistently, like really calling me pretty much every afternoon. And then I said, well, and then I talked to our commercial director at Organic Bioactives, and I said, do you think we should apply for that? And he said, yeah, well, well, go for it, because you know it's an opportunity. At this time, we had no idea how comprehensive the entire project would be, and you know that we are going to have to deliver pitch and everything, and yeah, so it was a very good learning for us, for me personally, because I'm the founder and I'm the chief science officer, so it's I'm behind the technology and you know, the product pipeline, and so it was me actually that have to take all that workload on my shoulders, beside driving the business and do all, you know, different tasks that you have to do, and it was, yeah, I didn't even I wasn't aware of the comprehensiveness of the entire project. It was a good learning point for us, and we, at the end of the day, we are very happy that we did it. Obviously we won the entire competition, so that was like a massive recognition and achievement for us. Personally, I'm more introvert person, so I'm not the one that will show off and deliver pitch, but I'm a good storyteller. And, you know, I know our brand inside out, and I know our business inside out for many, many years. So it's always have to be me to deliver pitch. And for me, this was, I have to say, honestly, the peak of my career, like the biggest recognition I've ever received at my work, you know, pitching to top hit people in R&D globally in L'Oreal. This probably won't happen again anytime soon. So it was absolutely fabulous, even though it was kind of, you know, nerve-wracking experience. You never know what they're going to ask you, and you know, if the pitch was really time frame, so you had to be sharp, 2 minutes, no extensions, and that was another big challenge, how to showcase everything that we want to tell in 2 minutes time. So my advice for startups is spend some time, obtain the advice wherever possible, from friends, from you know, there are government institutions that they're supporting startups and businesses. Understand basic business rules, but at the same time learn how to set up boundaries and understand contracts. Well, you know, it might sound boring, because probably everyone says that, but it's excellent that you have passion, energy, idea, but you have to have business understanding. You have to have understanding of core how to manage a business. So you have to have understanding on, you know, on several aspects of our business. How much funds do you need for that? How much funds do you need to that? How are you going to sustain? Because it's not easy. And, you know, people undercalculate themselves. So I would say, go out and obtain an advice. There's so much advice, you know, and everything is on Google now. You can, you know, be curious before you start, before you dig in, you know, before you put yourself under the tremendous stress, and maybe your family, because, you know, we know as a small startup, it's incredibly hard to get funds. Funds are the life of the business. It's you have to have funds. You can have the best idea and the best product already developed in the world. If you have no funds to put that product on the market, what's the point? So there's no point. And when you develop something and you spend so much resources and so much money on developing, and then you go on the market and try to find investors, it's incredibly hard because you are not in a position of power. You're desperate to find funds to market the product. And no one wants you to be perfect on all levels, right? And business, marketing, sales, of course not. But you need to understand what is the pathway to the market and how much each pathway needs to get you there.